Having completed Edward Bond's play Lear, we can turn our attention to a poem from the paper British Literature post 1940. Andrew Motion's The Last Call could be the next poem for us. Andrew Motion is a poet of some decent reputation. He was born in 1952. He was a professor, English professor at Hull University. He was given the prestigious post of Poet Laureate of England, but he was criticized for accepting that post, the coveted post of Poet Laureate, because he was the first one to be given that post with a stipulated time frame. He was given that post only from 1999 to 2009. Before him, all poets, once given that post of Poet Laureate, could continue till their death, His immediate predecessor, Ted Hughes, also did the same. The bureaucratic England changed the clause, Andrew Motion accepted that offer, and he was criticized for the same by the literary fraternity in England. Okay, coming to his poem, The Last Call. It's a very short poem. Strictly going by the poem, there is nothing much to explain vocabulary wise also. But there is, we can read this poem with multiple implications, dimensions, I will read the poem once and make the analysis later. Death called me. I did not hear. He spoke again. Come near. I went to look for pity. Poor death, I thought, he loves me. I guessed right, he does. And now I love him too, just because. The death calls the poet. The poet does not hear the call from death first. But later, when he hears, he realizes that death loves him so much, and it was calling him constantly. And he realizes how much the death loves him. So he feels pity for him, pity for death, and reciprocates that love out of sympathy. And he falls in love with the death. That is the simple meaning of the poem, The theme could be cited as the inevitability of death. Many works in literature have in fact come up with such themes. Dryden in Macflecknoe says all human things are to decay. When fate summons, even monarchs must obey. In Hamlet also we find Claudius speaks of the inevitability of death. There are many in literature. But here there are other meaning, The poem is noted for its thanatotic impulses, Thanatos and Eros. In order to understand this poem better, you have to get some kind of idea about Sigmund Freud and his path-breaking work of 1920, Beyond Pleasure Principle. He explained two terms, Eros and Thanatos. Eros means the zest for life, the life instincts. Someone erotic wants to sustain the life instincts, the sexual pleasures and all such. Thanatos is a preparation for a non-violent, peaceful death. Going by what Sigmund Freud said, life could be a preparation for death. Life could be nothing but a preparation for death. It might be rather difficult for us to digest such kind of philosophy, psychological explanation given by Freud. But in practical life, I have seen many people taking such kind of preparations. Perhaps you might have heard old people saying, my 5 children, they have everything in life. They can continue to live without any botherations. Now I can close my eyes peacefully. So people tend to say such kind of things. So they, even though what Sigmund Freud spoke could appear very strange at the outset. It could be quite familiar to us, people finding life as a preparation for death, earns enough money, makes the future of their children safe before they die. So this thanatos implications of this poem is very strong. He loves death. Very seldom in world literature do we come across such kind of themes where the speaker himself is in love with death. Perhaps one work which readily comes to my mind is the one author who constantly makes such kind of appeal to death is Emily Dickinson, the famous American poetess. Emily Dickinson, in some of her poems, finds death as a suitor who comes to woo her. So after Emily Dickinson, perhaps this could be the poem in which death is depicted as one of the dear friends. Okay.